What if I told you that artificial intelligence just crossed a milestone this week that nobody predicted would happen this fast? Not in 5 years. Not in 3 years. Right now. This week. And if you blinked, you missed it. Because while most people were going about their regular lives, the AI industry quietly did something that is going to change how you work, how you stay healthy, how your government operates, and how the biggest companies on Earth compete with each other. The pace of what is happening right now in the world of artificial intelligence is not just fast. It is unlike anything we have ever seen in the history of technology. And today, we are breaking down everything that happened this week, the stories that matter, the ones you need to understand, and the ones that have massive implications for your future, whether you are following AI closely or just hearing about some of this for the very first time. Before we get into it, if you are new here, welcome to AI Unlocked Official, the channel where we take the most important AI developments happening right now and break them down in a way that actually makes sense for real people. If you want to stay ahead of what is coming, hit subscribe and turn on notifications because this space is moving so fast that missing even 1 week means missing a lot. And if this kind of content is useful to you, take 2 seconds and hit like. It genuinely helps more people find this channel who need to understand what is happening. Now let us get into the news because this week was absolutely packed. Let us start with the number that dropped this week and genuinely stopped a lot of people in their tracks. ChatGPT has now surpassed 1 billion monthly active users. 1 billion. To put that in perspective, it took Facebook over 8 years to reach that number. Instagram took about 6 years. ChatGPT did it in a fraction of that time. And what makes this milestone more than just an impressive statistic is what it signals about where we are in the AI adoption curve. We are no longer in the early adopter phase. We are no longer in the phase where AI is a novelty that tech enthusiasts play with. We are in the phase where artificial intelligence has become a daily utility for a significant portion of the global population, the same way electricity or the internet eventually became. The question is no longer whether AI will become mainstream. That question was answered this week. The question now is what happens to the billion people using it and the billions more who will start using it in the months ahead. But here is something even more interesting than the user number itself. Researchers this week revealed something unsettling about how ChatGPT's memory system actually works. A study found that the vast majority of memories that ChatGPT builds about its users are created automatically by the system itself, without the user explicitly choosing what gets stored. The system is quietly building behavioral profiles of the people using it, learning patterns, preferences, habits, and tendencies, and storing that information to personalize future interactions. Now, on one hand, that sounds useful. On the other hand, it raises very serious questions about privacy, data ownership, and what exactly these AI systems are learning about you over time. This is not a theoretical concern either. With the European Union's AI Act transparency rules set to take effect in August 2026, this particular finding is going to create significant legal and ethical pressure on how memory-enabled AI systems disclose what they know and how they know it. This story is far from over, and we will be watching it closely. Now let us talk about something that happened in government this week, because it is arguably the biggest policy development in American AI history. A bipartisan team in Congress unveiled a 269-page discussion draft of something called the Great American Artificial Intelligence Act. Let that sink in for a moment. The United States government just put forward the most comprehensive federal AI framework ever proposed. This document, authored by representatives from both political parties, attempts to address everything from AI safety standards to liability, from transparency requirements to how AI systems should be governed when they are used in critical public sectors. Now, a discussion draft is not a law yet. It still has a long road ahead of it. But the fact that something this detailed and this bipartisan exists right now tells you something important. The era of AI being an unregulated frontier is ending. The rules of the road are being written in real time, and the decisions being made in the next 12 to 18 months will shape how AI is developed and deployed in this country for decades to come. Speaking of government and AI, this week also brought a major move in the competition between the world's leading AI companies for government contracts. The U.S. government awarded a sweeping federal AI contract to xAI, the company that operates the Grok AI model. Now, if you have been following the AI space, you know that xAI went through a major transformation earlier this year when SpaceX acquired the company in February 2026. Since that acquisition, xAI has moved aggressively from being primarily a model research lab to building what looks like a full enterprise AI stack, one with government distribution, developer tools, and consumer products all developing simultaneously. This federal contract is a significant signal. It means that the U.S. government is not placing all of its AI bets on a single company. It means the competition for government AI infrastructure is genuinely open. And it means that xAI, backed by the resources and relationships of SpaceX, is now a serious player in a race that most people had assumed was already settled between OpenAI and a handful of others. And while we are on the subject of competition, let us talk about what OpenAI released this week because it is fascinating. The company launched an updated model called GPT-Rosalind, and this one is purpose-built specifically for life sciences research at enterprise scale. We are talking about a model designed to work directly in the world of drug discovery, genomics, proteomics, and applied genetics. If those words sound technical, the implication is actually very straightforward. OpenAI is now building AI tools that are specifically designed to accelerate how scientists discover new medicines, understand diseases at the genetic level, and develop treatments that could potentially help millions of people. The fact that a frontier AI lab is going this deep into life sciences is not just a business story. It is a signal about where the most transformative applications of AI are heading, and healthcare is clearly near the top of that list. That brings us to a story from Europe this week that is quieter but genuinely remarkable in what it suggests about the future of medicine. A French startup called Zencolab released details about its AI system that analyzes retinal images to detect eye diseases at their earliest stages. The technology is designed to expand access to early diagnosis, particularly in areas where specialist eye care is difficult to access. And the timing of this story alongside the life sciences moves by OpenAI tells a consistent story. AI is moving from being a productivity tool into being a direct participant in how we identify and respond to disease. Early detection changes outcomes dramatically in almost every area of medicine. And AI is now getting good enough at pattern recognition in medical imaging that it is beginning to outperform human specialists in specific narrow tasks. That is not hype. That is what the research is showing. And this trend is going to accelerate significantly over the next few years. Now, let us shift for a moment to robotics because something happened this week that deserves more attention than it got in mainstream coverage. BYD, the Chinese automotive and technology giant that most people in the West know primarily as an electric vehicle company, announced its entry into the humanoid robotics space. This is significant for several reasons. BYD brings enormous manufacturing scale, deep hardware expertise, and access to supply chains that most Western robotics companies simply do not have. The humanoid robot race, which a year ago involved a relatively small number of players, is now attracting some of the most powerful manufacturing companies on Earth. When a company like BYD enters a space, the timeline for that technology reaching real-world deployment at scale compresses significantly. The era of humanoid robots working alongside humans in warehouses, factories, and eventually other environments is not a distant science fiction scenario anymore. It is an engineering and manufacturing challenge, and the companies entering the race this week are exactly the kind of companies that solve engineering and manufacturing challenges for a living. There is one more story from this week that ties all of this together in a way that I think is worth spending a moment on. Uber announced the expansion of its robotaxi service into Spain, making it one of the first major ride-sharing platforms to bring fully autonomous vehicle service to European consumers at any meaningful scale. When you put this alongside everything else we have covered today, a pattern becomes visible. AI is not just advancing in laboratories and research papers anymore, It is moving into the physical world at an accelerating pace. It is in the cars that drive you. It is in the medical systems that diagnose you. It is in the robots being built to work beside you. It is in the government systems that govern you. And it is in the digital assistants that now serve over 1 billion people every single month. So here's the question I want to leave you with today, and I genuinely want to hear your answer in the comments below. Of everything we covered this week, from the billion-user milestone to the federal AI legislation to humanoid robots and AI-powered drug discovery, which development do you think is going to have the biggest impact on your daily life in the next 5 years? Because the answers people give to that question reveal a lot about how differently we all experience this moment in history. Drop your answer below. I read every single comment on this channel, and I always respond to the ones that make me think. And if this video helped you make sense of what is happening in the AI world right now, please share it with someone who is trying to keep up with all of this. Because the truth is, most people are not getting a clear picture of how fast this is all moving. And the people who understand it are going to navigate the next decade very differently from the people who do not. Share this with someone who deserves to be in that first group. This is AI Unlocked Official. We will see you next week with everything that happens between now and then. And trust me, in this space, that is going to be a lot.